to the NFL as the quarterback of the Detroit Lions, but the work that most defines our next guest has evolved after his playing days ended.
We're talking about the work of a heartbroken father after the suicide of his own 15-year-old son.
Eric Hipple now joins us with Christy Buck, the Executive Director of the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan. Eric, you're here in West Michigan to do a bunch of things on behalf of the Mental Health Foundation.
Oh, she's got me busy.
Oh, yeah, you're running literally.
You know Christy.
Yeah, you thought those workouts when you were playing quarterback were tough. You haven't met anybody until you met Christy. To share with us kind of your own journey and how you were so personally touched by mental illness.
Well, growing up, I had my own little bouts that just didn't recognize what they were because we didn't talk about those kind of things. And then when I was in college, I missed a whole quarter of school, not to be able to get out of bed. But I was a 4-year starter, so I was successful. Had another bout in like '97 that was, had an event tagged to it. I jumped out of a car, wrote a note to my wife, said, "I'm sorry, I love you," and handed it to her and jumped. It's just, and so when my son started exhibiting some of the same symptoms that I had, you'd think I'd recognize that, but it was just the opposite. It was like, hey, I got through this, you'll get through it. And I even took him to the doctor to prove that there was nothing wrong with him, so he'd go back to school. He didn't have a temperature and stuff, so you don't have the flu, you have to go. But he had every classical symptom. I just didn't know what it was called, and I didn't know it was a brain illness. And depression is a brain illness, and it's treatable. And so when he took his life, he was 15 years old when he took his life, it was the defining moment of, first of all, the unthinkable happening, but then the guilt and all the stuff that goes along with it, why I wasn't able to do something about it. So now, learning, having the right language, the right information, and also going out and teaching resilience ideas, so we can stay mentally healthy, not wait until the illness hits us, and then and unfortunately having a death that happens.
Mm-hmm. How did your son's suicide affect the whole family? I know people have taken their lives, and I am so just stunned by the impact that it's made on the people that are left behind.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, it's a type of death that people don't want to talk about, and so it's really stigmatizing to, nobody ever walks up and says, well, tell me how it happened. Nobody does that, but they will do that. If you lose somebody to a car accident, well, tell me about the car, you have a chance to talk about it, and so it's really an isolating factor, and when that happens, you start avoiding it. Okay, so then I'll avoid the room that it happened in. We moved because I got to avoid the house. I don't want to drive by the school that he used to go to. So you start all these avoidance behaviors that are really bad. And in my own case, I really started self-medicating. I didn't care. I didn't want to feel anything, and it eventually ended me with a DUI and in jail for 58 days. And it almost tore our family apart. I've got a great support system with my wife and my other kids, so I was able to regain. But it wasn't until I decided I want to learn what happened. I want to open up this thing and say, what happened to me, what happened to him, and it was that knowledge base that actually thrust me forward, and really recovery and healing was the fact that, oh my gosh, this is something that's treatable, and this is a brain illness that we can talk about, and so being connected, I had a good support system, really helped out a lot, but it's just that moment nobody talks about it because they don't know what to say.
And Christy, I know that suicide is something that we don't talk about, but we really need to. If it's something that we say every single day, you're in classrooms talking and in gymnasiums talking to thousands and thousands of students every year. What's the message, and how does somebody like Eric come in and really drive the point home?
It's amazing to connect with somebody like Eric, who has a great presence. We're going to be on the road today going to 3 high schools, in addition to all the mental health education that we've been doing with Live, Laugh, Love. And then we started this Be Nice initiative to really combat bullying, which in part, yes, has an effect on the brain. And what we know is that depression is a medical condition. We need to understand it. And for Eric, he's uplifted me to a different level too. We've really got to focus on being mentally fit. And not only suicide prevention, but it starts beforehand. Let's not get too far into the game where somebody really is contemplating taking their life. Let's teach them, how do you cope with stress? How do you cope with next year you're going off to college? We have a very high suicide rate in Kent County, second leading cause of death amongst high school students. That is unacceptable. And what we know is not an option, and we believe wholeheartedly in there. And I'm really pumped to have Eric on the road today. I do have him busy. You give a Greek this thing, put me wherever you want. We're doing it. Yeah. So we've really got a lot of help from the Suicide Prevention Coalition of Kent County, and 2 moms, Deb Myers and Mary Erdley. They've championed it. Jenny Fritz saw Eric on Monday Night Football when the Detroit Lions played Monday night. She called me. We got to bring Eric. Her son Brandon died. I mean, we got to do it. And this is, he's amazing and uplifting to those who have lost and who are battling this, losing loved ones to suicide.
And this is your book, too. People can
Yes.
find this book and read more about your family's experience and what you might be able to do to help somebody that you're concerned about, right?
Correct, and ultimately it's a positive message because life is uplifting, and we should be able to to have the right to, not the right to demand, say I want to be mentally healthy. I want to have a sense of well-being. I want to be productive. I want to be fruitful. I want to be part of my community, and those are all mentally fit stuff. But we don't often understand that. We focus on the illness and the treatment, but we don't do the proactive portion of it. That's what we're about, the proactive, but also recognizing the illness.
Fantastic. Well, I know that the end part of your day is at the Griffins game tonight, where Eric and I will be selling throw for dough balls to raise money for the Mental Health Foundation. And Eric, thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us. I really appreciate it.
Christy, thanks for being here.
We'll be right back.